Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Coach Socks, and welcome to the channel. Today, we're going to be doing a world tour episode. Now, we're going to be doing a world tour episode today because I've been working on a mega project behind the scenes for the last couple of days, and it's probably going to take me a couple of weeks to complete. So, I wanted to just kind of go over everything that we've done in the season so far to give everybody a fresh set of eyes on all the projects and also just to kind of go over my future plans for the world. I think we've been in this world for about 4 months and a total of, I think, 16 or 15 days worth of game times. Let me just check the stats really quickly. We scroll all the way down. Yo, wow. Yeah, 16 and a half days of game time is quite a long time. But to start things off, we are in my old starter base area. This is the area that I decided that I was going to do a season 2 of YouTube to begin with. Now, I have moved everything over to our current area now that we live in, but this is where my old crop farm was, and this is where I still go mining all the time. If it goes all the way down to the bottom and hits bedrock, this is where my old nether portal was. Not much to really see here anymore. I've dug out a lot of things though, getting copper, getting iron, getting all sorts of things. And then the second thing I wanted to show you guys over here in this area, over by this, is our XP farm for our zombies. This was like one of the first things, one of the first projects that I worked on, even before I started working on, where is it? Here's the entrance over here. Even before I started working on actually building anything, and you just come over here and swipe their legs like so, put all the extra stuff that you don't want into that little box right there. Now, to be honest with you guys, I don't really use that anymore since I have a very, very big villager trading hall. I get all my XP that way nowadays, so I'm rarely ever over here. Oh my god. Okay, I thought that guy was chasing me, but yeah, I very rarely use that anymore. But I think that pretty much concludes the starter area. The early days, the first like 24 hours of the game is all of that stuff right there. Now, the everything that we've done so far, every build that we've done so far has been over in all of this area over here. Now, our starter base is the castle. Now, I don't really know how I'm going to show this off, maybe room by room, but this right here was the first section that I decided to build up and then post a video on. I think this is episode 2 or maybe episode 3. Maybe this is episode 3 right here. So I did one sliver of the castle in one of those videos, and then I did the other sliver of the castle over there in probably episode 3. But let's go ahead and go into this first sliver and just show you guys what I've done inside of it. Now, a lot of this stuff that you guys see in the world is subject to change, especially these empty rooms in this. I didn't realize how small this was going to be. I need ideas for how to fill this up. But I do have a couple of these rooms, if not most of them, kind of filled up with little things like this. So this map is a little outdated, but this is our current map of the world. Notice how I just said it's the current map and it's a little outdated. That's why these videos are usually highly edited, but that's our map room. This is our music disc room and comment of the day, which I haven't done in a little while, but yeah, I'm trying to collect all the discs. If you guys follow me on Instagram, I just started a new series, Digging Straight Down in Minecraft. I'm trying to find an ancient city. Most people would think I'm trying to find diamonds or something, but I'm trying to find an ancient city so I can get an ancient city music disc. I'm trying to figure out what other discs I'm missing at the moment too, but this is, I think, our brewing room. So yeah, we have a ton of different brewing things in this room right now. I wish there was more potions in the game that were actually useful all the time. I'm not gonna lie. But moving on from that room, we have our very, very cramped furnace room. That's something that I definitely need to update in the future. At some point is have like a very big automatic furnace setup where we have hoppers and chests and it kind of goes a lot faster. But yeah, that's our furnace room, and then we have our lava farm right here, and then we also have a bee farm in this, which looks like it's filling up quite a bit. I need to empty that out. I just don't have a ton of uses for the honeycombs and the honey bottles, but yeah, let's go to bed. I think it's time for bed. Now, if we go upstairs, this takes us to our enchantment setup room. This room definitely needs updated. I built this, I think, like day 2 or day 3 of the world, when I built up this when I built up this first sliver of the world. And yeah, it definitely needs some edits, and I'm not super proud of this room anymore. I definitely think I can do a little bit better. I know that I was having a lot of trouble picking a side of the room to put the enchantment table itself, but I think we could come up with something a lot better, or just move this room entirely and make this room into something else. And then if we come up here, this is the bridge that leads us into the next sliver of the castle, which this next part is something that I haven't shown in any of the YouTube videos yet, because I've been working on this weekend, which is my automatic wool farm. And look, it's already going off as soon as we enter the room. And we've got all of the colors besides 2. I'll let you guys figure out which 2 colors are missing from this beautiful rainbow room. But yeah, this is a very, very aesthetically pleasing to look at room, and also very, very functional. This is something that I wanted to do at the very beginning of the season, or whenever the Happy Ghast was announced. I thought, okay, well, I'll just wait till the Happy Ghast comes out and I'll fly the sheep up here so that I can get this finally put in. The problem was is I was working on so many other projects at the time that I just never got to it until this past weekend. Spent a little bit of time coming up with this room design. I think it came out really, really nice. I used some end rods again. I got this little painting set up back here, a little loom going on in the back, and I really love how this turned out. It finally kind of completes the castle. Besides this face of the castle, I need to put some windows up there or something, but I really like how this has turned out. And you guys are going to hear me say that a lot throughout this video. I really like how this turned out. I don't have a very big vocabulary, so you're going to hear me say, I really like this, I really like that. So that was the first entrance to the castle. This is the main entrance. This is where I come in all the time. I have some signs up here that kind of signify big deals on the channel. So my first ever stream was May 9th of this year, and the dragon fight I fought on May 24th of this year as well. Both of those were pretty big events, but this was also a very big event, was filling up this first room. And I just wanted this room to be aesthetically pleasing to look at and not really have a lot of function, although I have given it a little bit of function. So if we come back here, I have a bunch of dyes in that box, and I have a lot of loom materials in this one. So all of these little banner designs right here, I keep right there, and then I can, you know, do some stuff in here. And then I have books and whatnot in some of, oh, I got cakes in this one. Look at that. And then coming up here, we have the king of the castle, Crispy Bacon. I have a nether portal down right below us. A pig came out and he climbed up and he got stuck in there. I literally didn't put him in there. He walked in there. And maybe throughout this video, we'll see a couple more of those guys walking around the base. And when we come out here, we have a little bit of a walkway to kind of oversee some of the castle. You guys will see a new build up there. We'll get to that a little bit later in the video. But come over here, go down the steps. And this is where my old storage room used to be, featuring another portal in the back. Now, all of these chests right here have like my nether materials and my end materials, and then oh! I'm literally lost for words. I didn't think I was gonna die. What the heck was that? I thought that was like a stone that like respawned you. Where am I? All right, we made it back home, and you guys will notice I have a brand new feature on the side of my base, featuring sort of like an open concept. Oh my god. Oh no, all my materials. Oh. I was gonna do a lot of jokes here, but I literally did not plan that. That wasn't supposed to be a joke or anything, guys. That was literally me just not knowing something about the game. I did not think that was going to kill me. I thought that that was a respawn anchor. I thought that I would be okay. Oh my goodness. We got shit all over the place. What the? I got to rebuild everything. This is crazy. I got to rebuild the whole thing just to show you guys what I've done. Oh my goodness. All right, so moving on. I'm never touching that block ever again. Let's continue the world tour though. Take this bed. And then let me just fix up my inventory really quickly. Let's go downstairs. This is my basement, okay? This is where my old storage room used to be. And this is where my new one is, everybody. This is where my new one is. This is brand new. This is a couple weeks old at this point. I'm very, very proud of the storage room and how it turned out. It's very, very pretty. It's very, very bright. Not big enough, I don't think. I have talked about extending it a few blocks to make it a little bit bigger, which would be very, very easy to do. It's expandable. I think this room came out really, really nice. I'm still a little shooken up by getting blown up just a few seconds ago. But the next piece of the world tour, if we're going in episode order, I think the next thing that I built up was this farmland area right here, plus this lion statue. Now, in this season, I have tested myself in more than one ways with size, with color, and then with complexity of builds. So the lion statue features some really, really cool building mechanics, which include walls and glass panes. I talked about that a couple times in this season so far, including with another project right above it that we can't see, ironically. But yeah, I used a lot of walls and glass panes to kind of get some of these shapes to work out really nicely with the lion statue. I really am happy with how this has turned out. Originally, though, it was a gray statue. Now, the next build that I did in the world, I believe, was the moon statue, the crescent moon right above the starter base. Now, I kind of used similar methods like I used on the lion statue. I was in a big wall glass pane stage early on in the season, just working on shapes and trying to figure out how to become a better builder. Now, there really isn't a whole lot of interesting things about the moon outside of the fact there is a lodestone right there. So anytime I'm using my compass, it leads me back to the moon, which I think is pretty cool. I think after the moon project, we worked on this custom lake down here in front of the castle, which I think came out absolutely stunning. We have a lot of details, coral reef blocks, sea pickles, lanterns on lily pads, colorful lily pads, and then diamonds surrounding the whole thing. When I was building this up, I was watching a lot of Wax Fraud at the time. If you guys don't know who that is, I definitely suggest you guys go check out his channel. He's a much better builder than I am, but pretty much what he does is he hyper details everything that he does. Every single block, every single piece of grass has something on it. I just touched one that didn't have anything on it, obviously, but he does a really fantastic job at hyper detailing everything that's in his world, and I was really trying to do that whenever I started this world up, was try to emulate his style because I really, really appreciate it, and I think he's a great builder. But what this river leads into, I think, is actually more impressive than the custom lake, which is this greenhouse. So a river that flows down into it and through it. Now, the idea with the greenhouse is that we're going to have an eventual city down here featuring lots of different styles. There's going to be a medieval styled city on the left side of it, and then a fantasy style city on the right side of it. So the greenhouse, I think, was the second structure of the world. Excluding the lion statue and the moon, this is the second structure in the world that we can actually go through. There's really not a whole lot that we can actually do in here besides ride the boat around, but eventually each one of these sides is going to lead out into a river that flows through each side of the city. So like I said, on the left side, we're going to have a medieval styled city. Now, I didn't do that much of an interior for the medieval house. This is something that I want to come back to eventually. We just have like a little rinky-dinky little interior on the inside right now. I definitely need to work on my interior design skills as far as when it comes to houses. I think for the castle, I really knocked everything out of the park, but with these smaller interior rooms, that's something I definitely want to work on. Same thing with the fantasy styled house on the right side. It's supposed to be like a witch's potion shop. Like I mentioned earlier in the season that I think a witch probably would live here. Now, I don't actually have a witch on the inside of this house, but I imagine that one would live here. It's kind of a spooky little house. You know, he killed his creeper friend. We have a closet with a skeleton helmet and stuff. Now, neither house features an upstairs interior. I just sort of got a little bit lazy. But moving on, I believe the next thing that we worked on after these three projects down here is the barn over here. Now, something I want to mention about the barn is somebody suggested to do a barn in the world. Now, the reason that's important is because that means that I'm taking your guys' suggestions and building them in the world. So if you guys have any suggestions on stuff that you think that I should build in the world, please comment down below. I'd really appreciate it. But yeah, this ended up being like a month-long project just because somebody said, hey, you should build a barn. And that's what I did. So we have like 20,000 pieces of wheat out here. And then we also have a little bit of an interior as well. I didn't do an upstairs. There's a theme with that, but I do have a sniffer farm that produces quite a bit of sniffer related flowers. I'm missing all the pitcher pods because yesterday, literally yesterday, I was using them with this little flower field over here. Now, it's a very, very small payoff, but I think it looks good from the sky. So you can see I have different rows of flowers kind of edging this area right here. I stopped it right there because I didn't think we were going to be able to see that much of it. So if we come down here, like I said, very, very low payoff just because it's up a little bit. I probably should have thought of that before I planted like 500 flowers, but I stopped it right there because I think we're going to increase the size of the storage room, like I said earlier in the video. So we might not see the edge of it once I do that. So the cool thing about the farm is that it inspired me to start using a lot of blocks that I haven't used in Minecraft, maybe ever. Some of those blocks are in the silo builds that I built up right next to it. So we have some nether brick chiseled blocks that are kind of coming out of the silos. And then we have these pink cherry wood fences kind of going up it that represent ladders. So if we go underneath the silos, there's a little farm that I want to show you guys really, really quickly. I think it's probably on. It might be loud. I don't know. I only know during editing. But this is a moss farm. Don't ask me how it works and don't ask me who came up with the design, but yeah, okay. I emptied it when I was doing a project yesterday, and it pretty much runs off of bone meal and I think like a stone generator or something, but it produces a lot of moss. But yeah, not to avoid the obvious, this is my favorite structure in all of the world, the mega structure that holds our villager trading hall up here. This was an intense project to come up with, and it definitely had a very, very big payoff. If we come up here, it's sort of like its own like little city. Now, if we go over here too, though, we have this dragon egg display, little display with like different mob heads. I still need to get a piglin head up here. I think that'd be really cool to add to that. We just have like a bunch of jobless villagers up here because they get lost sometimes. But if we go down here, this is sort of one of the entrances to the trading hall. Now, this is going to be the empty side, so we're going to have to fly over to the not so empty side. Holy cow, we got a bunch of iron golems in here. Wow. But we have all of these different slots for villagers. Now, I'm going to show you guys how to use this really, really easily. So if you guys wanted to get a lot of emeralds really easily in your world, just follow these steps. So you're going to need a lot of the librarian, and you're going to need a lot of the cartographers villagers. So what you're going to do is you're just going to take a few stacks of glass panes, okay? And you're going to go up to these guys, and they're going to give you emeralds for the glass panes, okay? So very, very simply, we just got 28 emeralds like that. And then you're going to go over to these guys, the librarians, and get the glass trade. Do that. Now you're going to just go through all of these guys and get as many regular glass blocks as you possibly can. So just in those two trades, if you do that, but do it on a very, very big scale, which is why I have all of these guys in here. But if you do it on a very, very big scale, you can get more glass panes than you started with. So if we just do this, I think maybe one more stack than what we started with. Imagine that on a bigger scale, and then you have a lot of emeralds to work with. So you can actually trade for things that you actually want. For me, right now, the only thing that I really trade for are golden carrots, which some of these guys down here have. So villager trading halls are actually very, very useful depending on how you use them. What's up, dude? But the mega structure is also home to a very, very simple and maybe inefficient bone meal farm. So in this pillar right here, we have a very simple cactus farm that collects a bunch of bone meal. Okay, cool. Let's continue the world tour, everybody. I just AFK'd about 12 hours in that spot right there. You wouldn't know it just by the cuts of those clips, but you guys will see I have 3 stacks of pitcher pods now from the sniffer farm. I was thinking about bringing those guys up a little bit more, but the next build I want to show off in this area is, oh, I did not even land that. But the next build I want to show off in the world is the floating ship that is by the mega structure. Now, Really not a whole lot to see here because it is so small, but the main reason why I built this up was I just wanted something cool to be in the sky. Now, a lot of this was inspired by B00 100 from his season 3 Minecraft building with I'm messing up the whole name, but it's his building with B00 season 3 season, whatever. And he has a floating tugboat in his world that's way more hyper detailed than mine. Mine's really focused on shape rather than details, and there's literally nothing up here. I thought about making this like a little AFK platform like he did in his world, but I decided against that because I AFK most of the time in my barn if I need sniffer seeds. But moving on, let's go on to the next build, which is let's just do this. I made a oh, I almost hit that guy. Wow. Uh, flustered right now. This is my house for my dog Rigby, who is my first dog in this world. I have another one named Big Chungus, but I lost him in the end while fighting the dragon. But after I built the silos up, I really decided that I was going to really dial in trying to use blocks that I've never used in Minecraft, which includes a lot of these dead coral blocks. You know, we used coral blocks for the lake that I showed off earlier in the episode, but I wanted to use the dead coral block variations. And I think there's two more that I didn't use for this house, but we also used yellow terracotta, and I think that might be it for the new materials. But then leading over into this other house right next to it, we used a lot of blackstone, sandstone, and light blue terracotta. So the goal with a lot of the builds going forward in the season are going to be directed towards using new blocks that I haven't really used at all ever in Minecraft. Now, that means that sometimes it's just going to be a little jut out using some sandstone, and other times it's going to encompass the whole build, like a bunch of terracotta that I haven't used before. Now, I will say the mega project that I'm working on right now, I don't think it really uses any new materials. I'm working on it. I am planning on trying to sneak in some materials I've never used before, but with a very, very big project, it's hard to come up with something like that. So it's gonna have, I think it's mainly made out of tough blocks, pale oak, and stuff like that. So it's gonna have sort of a darker kind of feel to it. And that's all I'm going to say in regards to that project. But yeah, I think what else have we not talked about yet so far? Oh, yeah, the mountain. Let's end on the mountain, okay? Well, actually, let's go into this house really quickly just because I showed you guys the interiors of the other builds, and I got a bunch of toads in here, or frogs, whatever you guys want to call them. I plan on decorating my world with mobs, like as you guys saw just a few seconds ago. I like having a lot of movement in my world, and then I've got a bunch of happy gas kind of floating around, and then a ton of bees. You know, I kind of want to do the same thing with frogs. And then the last thing I want to go over is the mountain build. Now, I built this up mainly because I was like, I want to step outside my castle, which I actually fixed in between clips. So I didn't really do a whole lot, but I did replace a bunch of the stones just to prove it. Yeah, well, I'm missing a block right there. Of course I am. But one of the reasons why I built up the mountain was because I wanted to have a cool view stepping outside of my house. Now, but if we increase the chunk distance to, let's just say 20, we get a really good view of the mountain. We actually get the full picture of it. And then the brand new build, I added a cherry tree to that in between clips as well. That wasn't there at the beginning of this video, but I think it needed just a little bit on top of it. But this is very, very new, haven't seen before type thing on the channel yet. I basically just built up this floating island and then a little like string, a little connecting piece. I don't know what you would call that, like a rope with two hanging lanterns with it. This is mainly just supposed to be like an aesthetic piece in the world. It's not going to have any function, and the mountain is actually flat. I don't know if that comes across in the videos, but it is super flat. And there's really not a whole lot to it. But the mountain, this looks so bad. I've been thinking about tearing down the mountain for a couple of weeks now, but somebody suggested that I should just keep adding to it, so I'm going to. But yeah, I don't know. The mountain is cool, but it's also not cool. I think the more I add like little bits like this coming out of it will make it look a lot better. But what do you guys think? If you guys are new to the channel, haven't seen the mountain before, let me know what you guys think of the mountain build. Okay, here we go, just smashing into things. But yeah, I think that's gonna wrap it up. I have a creeper farm back there that is very, very new to the channel. That was a long time coming for the world. I needed it for rockets, obviously, and maybe some other things, maybe some TNT projects. But I think that's gonna do it for the world tour. I don't think I have really anything else to show off besides maybe my sugarcane farm. Let's actually go check that out really quickly. So I built up this hillside over here, all custom made, obviously, and then a little entrance into here, which takes us into a sugarcane and a bamboo farm. Looks like this just went off, and I collected a bunch of it recently, and then the sugarcane is it's going pretty well over here. But I think that's going to wrap up today's world tour. Look at that view. Looking really, really sick. I love how this world is turning out. If you guys have any suggestions for builds, though, let me know down in the comments down below. I'd really appreciate it. But yeah, I might not post on YouTube for a couple of weeks, depending on how long this mega project is going to take me. I try to post at least every other day on Instagram. So if you guys want to find me on there, my name is Coach Socks on there. And until next time, guys, I'll see you later. I hope you guys enjoyed the world tour, and maybe I inspired you a little bit. But until next time, guys, I will see you later.